filters. Okay, first part is about why I mean, we all know why water is important to us. Okay, so we must maybe we can share a bit about all the issues with water that we face with. Okay, and then how is it that actually most of us actually get some form of water treatment? Okay, that means even when I'm in Myanmar, when I go to whenever I visit one or two times, right, I realize that when I take water from the tap, right, it looks quite clean also, you can't really see it also. So okay, so I mean that's one component that we can talk about, that sometimes we actually don't see how clean or how dirty the water is. Okay, so that's one part. Okay, and then the last part, I would like to take a bit more time, okay, to share about our ecosphere. Okay, what are the different parts and what is unique about our ecosphere, and then lastly share three different testimonials, right, for our ecosphere. Okay, is that good for everyone? Okay, okay. If anybody okay, then just give me some response.
Thank you, Angel. Yes.
I feel a bit quiet, especially in a rainy day. Okay, so yeah, thank you, Samuel. Thanks.
Okay, great.
Cool. Okay, I'm happy to hear some of you. That is a bit weird, like a monologue like that. Okay. Yes. Okay. So let's go on to. I just have a few slides so that we just see how it goes. Okay, so just one or two, just to share a bit more about what is water to us. Okay, so generally, right, we can survive. Oops, it's a bit slow. Okay, generally, right, I feel about water is that we really need water. Okay, we can't barely survive 1 or 2 days, right, without water. Okay, but we can survive without food for like a week or so. Okay, or even longer. Okay, depending on individual body conditions and also the age group lah. Okay, so but we cannot survive without water. Okay, and that's because, right, more than 50% of our body, right, is made up of water. Okay, and in our body there's many processes that actually requires water. Okay, so our brain needs water, our liver needs water, our whole digestive system need water. Okay, even our eyes. Okay, so you see, we use our eyes every day, right, and every blink of our eyes there's actually fluids to lubricate our eyes. Okay, so even as small as the eyes, we need water. Okay, what else do we need water? Your skin also need water. Okay, so these are little things that all the little water go. Okay, yesterday I went to Pulau Ubin. Okay, and then I went there with 1 liter of water. Okay, so 1 liter of water, so I was carrying it on my back. Then I was thinking, it's very heavy. Like, how come my bag so heavy? So I carry, but as I drink along, right, then the bag gets lighter. So I was thinking that, oh my gosh, actually 1 liter of water is quite a lot of weight. So as I drink into my body, right, the bag gets lighter. I feel lighter. And by right going in 1 liter, I would think that I would need to go toilet, right? Okay, but the funny thing, or rather the thing is, I didn't need to go to the toilet at all. Okay, so this is where I feel that all the water, the 1 liter water that I consume, right, has gone into my perspiration, it has gone to my talking, okay, and all the movement. My muscle need water as well. Okay, so that is how, like, just in that 1-2 hours, taking in 1 liter of water, right, actually I didn't really need to empty my bladder at all. Okay, so this is some of the examples to share with you all that how in our body, right, all the metabolic of our body functions, right, actually require a lot of water. Okay, but what's the problem with water? Okay, so water usually where do people get water, or where different countries actually get their water supply, right, is through the reservoir. Okay, so what is reservoir? Reservoir is to me is good hanging out place, right? Okay, because you get a chance to walk, to exercise in all these reservoir. Okay, so basically they collect rainwater. So the more traditional way, okay, of collection of water that you can be treated and then to be used, right, is actually from rainfall. Okay, so from rainwater. Okay, but whenever this water go into this collection point called the reservoir, right, then there will always be exposure to a lot of things. Okay, a lot of things meaning like contaminants, bacteria, okay, and sand, okay, dust, and all the different particles. Okay, plastics. Okay, in city area we have a lot of plastics. Okay, so okay, can be contaminated with plastics as well. Okay, so therefore there's always a lot of we need to take effort to treat the water. Okay, so that's one form of getting water sources. Okay, the other one is that we can get from the sea, the ocean. Okay, so that is very salty water, right? Okay, so all of us have gone to the beach and experience it. Okay, so that actually need to go through another process to get rid of all the salt, okay, and other things in the water before you can use it as well. Okay, so the sea, rainwater. The other one is, of course, from all the lakes, ponds, okay, or rivers, okay, rivers that travel from different countries. Okay, so rivers also go through land. Okay, so when they go through land, right, they bring along whatever pollution that come with them. So there's also other issues. Okay, and waterborne disease. Okay, so most of all these water bodies, I call them water bodies because they are just for collection of water. Okay, they also very prone to issues whereby related to waterborne disease. Okay, like cholera. Actually, I also think hepatitis, but hepatitis is more from the seafood that you I don't know what you call it, the food that we eat in from the river source. Okay, so you also can get diseases like this. Okay, so we also have to battle with waterborne disease when it comes to drinking water. Okay, so these are some of the things we might face. Okay, and then next thing is, of course, in city area, right? We have issues with like rats, pests, okay, that can also be contaminating our water sources. Okay, so that is also one issues that we might have when it comes to clean drinking water. Okay, yes, so that's the first part of what I want to share, so to let us understand what is the different issues. Okay, then the next one that share. So this is where they talk about unsafe water. So until today, right, even though that there's a lot of advancement in technology, we still face a lot of issues with contaminated water. Okay. Okay, so this is a environmental performance index that we have here that actually shows a ranking of how clean the water is. Okay, so you notice over here in Southeast Asia, right? Even in Singapore, we are only ranked 24. Okay, so no matter you see all the processes of going through the water treatment, right, we are also ranked 24. Okay, so of course the other countries you all can see over here. Okay, like for Myanmar is 123, Philippines 113. Actually, it's to me, after a while you notice it's just basically mean that mostly, right, the tap water is not exactly safe to drink directly. Okay, so so these are things that we can be found in the water. And you look at it, right, actually most of it we can't really see. Okay, so maybe I give an example of what are we looking at in terms of the size. Okay, because like I say already, I traveled before to Indonesia. I traveled before to Myanmar. Okay, when I pick up a glass of water, right, and look at it, right, and I felt that it looks exactly like this. That means basically what you see is just look like colorless. Okay, and sometimes you look against the light, you can't really see whether is it yellowish. Do you all agree with me? Okay, so I mean, just sharing of some experiences lah. So maybe some of you also have ever experienced that, whereby the water looks perfect to you. Okay, but what you don't see, right, are really those things that are actually not visible to our naked eye. Okay, so I just want to give some perspective in terms of a size. Okay, you know, like our strain of hair. So let's say just one strain of hair, right? The one strain of hair, right, it's about 70 micrometers. Okay, so one strain of hair, when you see, right, is about 70 micrometers. Okay, so this is what we can see. Okay, then some of the things that we can see is like dust. Okay, so you know when the dust land onto the glass, and then you can see that thin layer of whitish thing, right? Okay, that is about 25 microns. Okay, so that's 25 microns. Okay, so this is what we can see. And then there are a lot of things, right, that is in the nanometers. Okay, so nanometers, right, is 1,000 times smaller than micrometers. Okay, so when you see the hair are so thin and so fine, right, you imagine you divide it by 1,000. You're not going to see much of it, right? Okay, so there are a lot of chemicals and a lot of particles, bacteria, viruses, especially. We are not going to see them, okay, because you cannot imagine cutting your hair into 1,000 pieces, right? So we cannot see. Okay, so this is some example of why is it that you look at the water, but you cannot distinguish whether how clean it is or how safe it is for drinking, okay? Because this is the size of these particles that we are looking at. Okay, so I go back again. Okay. Okay, so these are things: iron rust, bleaching agents. Okay, so chemicals, fertilizers, pesticides. You're not going to see all these things that is actually present in our water. Okay, and also because if we actually want to make sure that our tap water is safe, right? They also need to add add chemicals like chlorine, right, to make sure that bacteria don't grow. Okay, so I think there's one video that actually share about what they put inside to make sure that bacteria doesn't grow, okay, or any other chemicals get accumulated. So let me just share this video a bit so that you can have an idea of what did they add into our water in order to make sure that it's safe in terms of bacteria, okay, but that is actually not safe if we take it long term. Okay, so this one video, just let me share this small part at the back of you.
System, as well as the water is dosed with further purify the water by removing natural organic matter and limiting biological regrowth. The water is dosed with lime to balance the pH of water, chlorine and ammonia to maintain stable residual chlorine and prevent microbial regrowth in the distribution system, as well as fluoride to prevent tooth decay. Finally, the water is stored in a clear water tank before it gets pumped to the service reservoirs for island-wide distribution to our taps. Every drop of water goes through a lot before it reaches our tap.
Okay, so I just want to share this little part with all of you so that you all understand that they have to add things inside the water in order to make it stable, okay? And the bacteria, while it's in that water storage tank, right, don't actually go into growing, okay? So that's why we add chemicals like chlorine inside, okay? And then later on we can see what are the issues, okay? So this is one, okay? So I go back to my slides. Okay, yes. Okay, so this next thing is about plastics. Okay, so plastics also have it's actually quite a common thing that these days we find. Okay, so this is also another concern. Okay, so this is also to show what microplastics, okay, and how it influence our body function and you know, how it influence our health. Okay, then next thing is about chlorine. So just now you notice that chlorine is being mentioned twice, you know, when it comes to water treatment. Okay, so first part, and then after that they after they balance the pH again already, right, they will also add again, right, in order to ensure that you know it's safe. Okay, so that's why you will always find chlorine. Okay, so what is the problem with chlorine? Chlorine, if you take too much, right, there's actually an increased risk in cancer. Okay, and also the thing is that you actually give you a taste and a smell of water. It's not as strong as swimming pool. Okay, I believe most of you can remember the difference. Okay, so the water that we are drinking, right, of course the chlorine level is is within the safety limits of WHO as well as Singapore guidelines. So every time, right, or every batch, they actually do testing, okay, so to make sure that it's within the safe levels, okay, but we are talking about long-term usage and accumulation of chlorine. Okay, so recent years, when it comes to for people who are concerned about health, right, then they started talking about using water filters. Okay, so water filter is not something new lah, okay, because many generations people already started using water filters. Okay, water filters as simple as using the gauze, as simple as using chlorine tablets. Okay, so all these things we heard before. Okay, so it's just that now it advanced to with technology, right, you see more complicated water filters. Okay, you see water filters that can do multiple functions as well. Okay, so this is I would say this is the improvement, okay, or the advancement of water filter. Okay, so I hope that by now, right, at least you all don't get confused by me. Okay, what I felt that what I was trying to share with all of you, right, is that I actually got a chance to know better about what is the issue with water, okay, and then I also know better about what is it like that our water is being treated, okay, because I believe most of us here, right, we don't see brown water, okay, we don't really see brown water all the time, okay, so that's why it's important for us to see that. So what is the minor difference, right, that we are using water filter for, okay? Yes, it's quite an important position now, because we're not talking to friends about brown water and then after you filter, right, and then it becomes a clear water, okay? So we are talking about the little things that improve our water quality for drinking and for health as well, okay? So is everyone with me? Good. Okay, so the next part that I want to share is okay, about some of the things that we might see. This part is quite okay. This is how water actually goes to our house. So just now the video that I share, right, we know that the water is being stored after being treated, and then after that they are actually sent into the different pipes, okay, and these pipes, right, what I understand is that one part of it is at least 6,000 kilometers long, okay, so it's spread from one end to the other, okay, meaning that the whole Singapore island, right, north, south, east, west, right, okay, there's one line that actually from the south to the west, and then there's another pipe from the north all the way to the east, okay, so these two long pipes, right, are where all water will move around, okay, so that means that there's also a risk, right, because there's a long area of pipe. So over here they show you, right, because some of these pipes, right, can be made of different materials depending on when they are being constructed, okay, because some of them are actually from old technology, okay, and you can't always like just want to change pipe then you change pipe. It's quite a big project, okay. Recently my parents' place, okay, my parents' place has been around since 1987 or 1988, okay, so my parents stayed there since that time, and when we stayed there, it was actually a new estate, okay, so when we moved in 30 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, right, it was actually a new estate, okay, brand new, and those days it was a new batch of housing, okay, public housing, so we had new pipes and everything. So recently, the past few months, right, my mom was packing things, so I asked her what. She said, oh, it's under the home improvement project, because all the water pipes and the sewage pipes, right, are very old already, 30 years already, so they want to change, and they also want to change the material, because those long time ago, right, the material they use are actually a copper or lead, you see, but nowadays they change it to a certain form of plastic that is better lah. Okay, so that was one thing. I think long time ago, someone from the engineering background also shared about the material being used for the different water pipes. Okay, so they were talking about changing all these pipes about it. Okay, and it's a big project. Okay, because they have to close all the water water supply, right, then they have to block out the whole toilet. So my goodness, my mom was saying that, oh, don't know how to go toilet, and then what, they have to go downstairs and the whole block have to share the toilets and bathroom. So it's going to be a inconvenience and also not easy, and I always very worried about this thing called the pipe burst or something like that, or water leaking and everything. So it's really that changing pipe, this thing in an existing estate, right, is not easy, okay. And if we, you know, even in Singapore being such a being such a small country, right, we also you know, not changing the pipe fast enough, okay, at least you have to be 30 years before the authorities look into possibility of changing pipes, okay. So over here you'll see there's always material that are used that are the copper pipes, okay, and then you also have the lead service pipe, okay, and then they also mentioned that certain pipes, right, actually may end up having accumulation, just like what you see just now, okay. So you see this pipe, okay, so it can become like that, right, whereby you don't really know, okay, you don't really know whether how frequent they service, okay. So there's this person that they interview from the public utilities, okay, also in another video, okay, that I saw, okay, he talks about how he has to every day, right, walk around and to inspect all the pipes, okay, but you know, it's not an easy task to inspect all the pipes. Okay, so he say really you know, takes time to actually go through all the maintenance and the inspection. Okay, so these are some of the possibilities that how your water, right, even though while it was being treated, it was actually safe. Okay, but the thing is, when the water, after the water is being treated, right, it actually takes a period of time, or it travel a certain distance, right, before it reach our tap, you know. Okay, so there's also a possibility of where it get contaminated. Okay, so that's one part. Okay, so I just share this. Okay, so most of us also have this idea lah, because over the years, right, in Singapore, we hear of people who contaminated water tank above their apartment, and then that's why we got contaminated water. Okay, we also hear of pipes leak. Okay, or you know, actually in Singapore, the gas pipe and the water pipe are it's maybe only upstairs, downstairs, they kind of feeling. Okay, so all these things may also mix into our water. Okay, so we all heard about it. Okay, and then what happens? So in the end, right, when I was young, my mom told me that we must boil water. So is there anyone who is like me from young, right? We just know that, oh, just boil as long heat can do everything like that. Okay, so we were told that yeah, just use heat lah, then surely you will be able to manage it. So heat was one of the methods that is very common that we were told that can kill everything, right? Okay, so we use boiling water. Okay, so I don't drink tap water. Okay, because I feel that tap water has a metallic taste and a funny smell. Okay, so I always boil my water. Okay, but and then I think that it's safe. Okay, I never think too much to it until that time when Yan Yan showed me this article. Okay, or when we had ecosphere, and then we start to understand what is it about boiling water. Okay, so when I think that, okay, so the thing is, when we boil water, right, we may kill off some of the bacteria or viruses. Okay, but there are possibility that some of the spores, you know, we eat a lot of mushroom, right, so you can have an understanding. So spores from mushroom, that means the fungus, right, they don't really die that easy. Okay, because spores are very hard. Okay, some of you who attended our Reishi Max session, right, you all will know, right, we have to crack the spores of the reishi mushroom, right, in order to get the active ingredient. Okay, so it's a special process to crack spores. Okay, so if in this case, right, in the water, if our water supply has actually all these fungus spores, right, by boiling, it's not going to easily kill away all these spores. Okay, so that's one reason that boiling cannot help when it comes to such items. Okay, and the other thing is that some of the bacteria actually mutate. Okay, or they adapt to the environment and the practices of the environment, right? And then they are able to withstand it. Okay, that means if your country is the country that actually always boil water, right, after a while, this bacteria also become smart. You know, they also will think of ways to counteract. So you notice that some of the bacteria have certain protection layer or certain things like that they don't kill them. Okay, so that's one. Then the last part is the most scary part with me is, to me, is the increased concentration of contaminants. My goodness, you know, I really forget about this. Okay, I feel very embarrassed. Okay, as a science student, but I really forget about it. Meaning, when we boil water, right? When we boil water 100 degrees Celsius, what is going to vaporize is going to be your H2O, your water. Okay, so what we vaporize is water. It doesn't mean that the boiling point of the different contaminants or chemicals in the water, right, is also going to vaporize, because they all have a different boiling point. Correct? Okay, so when we boil water, only the water get vaporized. Okay, meaning in terms of your water, it's going to be lesser, but the chemicals or whatever things inside the water is just going to be concentrated because less water. Oh my. Okay, so while you think that is safe, right, because the authorities or the engineers tell you that by right in that concentration, right, we call this thing called parts by per million, right, the chlorine is safe one. Okay, but I so smart, right, I go and boil water, right, so in the end the chlorine content become more concentrated because I boil away the water. Okay, so that's something that really got me thinking. Okay, and I was so shocked that I was doing it for the past 20 years, 30 years. Okay, so that's one. I mean, that's my own personal view. I hope that you also feel the same way as me. Okay, so I got a shock when I was concentrating all the chemicals inside my water, because that's what I'm drinking all the time. Okay, so that's a practice that is common, but actually it's not advisable at all. for us. Okay, so that's for the boiling water part. So boiling also not going to help you. Okay. Okay, so what is quality drinking water? Okay, so here are some of the guidelines when it comes to drinking water. Okay, so quality drinking water includes things like it should be colorless, tasteless, okay, and also I don't know about this transparent, okay, honestly, because I can't tell, okay, but it has to be like this, okay, sterile, no spores, no virus, okay, no residual chlorine, and also trihalomethane, and then no residual pesticides, organic chemicals, no heavy metals like rust, lead, mercury, okay, and also no impurities, oxygenated, wow, okay, and then of course there are some minerals, okay, inside, okay, so this is quality drinking water. Okay, so next slide, I will share with you all about our water filter. Okay, so ecosphere is really a product, right, of the scientists' innovation. Okay, so these scientists were very brilliant. Okay, they actually bought and went to acquire all the different water filters that they can find in the market. Okay, there's always the one that you attach to the tap. Do you all agree? Okay, so there's one small one and common one that we always see, the one that you seen in the tap. Okay, then you also see those that is come in the jug one. Okay, come in a like a water container like that, small water container whereby you can put water in and then go through the filter and then you get filtered water. Okay, and then after that, you also have those little containers, okay, filled with filter that you attach to your water pipes. So what the scientists did was that they collected all these and then dismantle, okay, and look into the inside of all the different water filters, and then they design the ecosphere. Okay, so ecosphere, right, was designed in a manner whereby it provides people with clean water that is safe, okay, safe for drinking, and even safe, right, when it comes to babies as well, okay, because they actually look into removing most of the bacteria that you can have. Okay, so that's our ecosphere. So what before I share about what I feel about our ecosphere, can I share a video with all of you, okay, that actually goes through all the individual filters that you can find in ecosphere. Okay, so just give me a moment.
Let's make every drop count.
Wondering what's the secret to straightening teeth while you sleep? Is Smile Direct Club Nighttime Aligner.
You and your family drink water every day. But do you know what's really filling your glass? The average home's tap water can contain contaminants such as microorganisms, chemicals, and pollutants. Boiling water may not be able to eliminate all of these contaminants. Do you want your family drinking that? If not, the ecosphere water purifier is your solution. The ecosphere water purifier's technology meticulously and systematically purifies water, making your water definitively clean and safe to drink. Our unique purification staging method maximizes the power of the purifier. Here's how. The purification starts with polypropylene pleated prefiltration. This accordion-shaped filter preps the water by removing large particulates such as dust, sand, and sediment. The second stage of purification forces water through a dense carbon block. This process is especially effective at removing organic contaminants, chemicals, chlorine, lead, and particulates. During stage 3, water passes through a special polyether sulfone membrane. This dense membrane is filled with microscopic pores ranging from 10 nanometers to 100 nanometers that trap a wide range of particles while letting water still flow unobstructed. The final stage of the ecosphere's purification process uses a cold cathode lamp UV light. Our state-of-the-art UV lamp has the ability to eliminate a wide variety of viruses, bacteria, and cysts, ensuring that your family's drinking water is clean and safe. Tap into the power of the ecosphere water purifier. Drink healthy with clean.
Okay, that's a good summary of all the different water filters. Okay, I really like it. Okay, because for me, I'm not engineer background. Okay, and also because I cannot imagine how it looks like inside our water filter, right? You look at our ecosphere cartridge, right? It's a very sleek, sleek design. Okay, and the thing is, the cartridge, right, is only this size. Okay, smaller than my face, you know. Okay, so this is how the size, the diameter of our ecosphere cartridge. Okay, and the height, right, is only this height. Okay, so it's really I felt that it was very unimaginable lah, because that's very small, you know, for a very powerful water filter. Because what I actually seen before, right, it's actually a water filter that has 3 different containers. Okay, then it hangs by the water pipe. Okay, and that day I also saw another water filter that has I think about nine different tubes. Okay, because you actually go through a lot of filter. Okay, and those reverse osmosis, if you open up, there's like 4 filters inside the reverse osmosis machine, water filter. Okay, so this is like can be very cumbersome. Okay, and you need to find a space to store it. Okay, a lot of times people actually put it outside the house. Okay, so if you have a house, you will see them having a big water filtering system outside the house. Okay, or in the apartment, right, you will see them hide underneath the sink. Okay, it can be a big box, you know, can be as big as the TR90 set, right? The TR90 3 months package size. Okay, that kind of size of water filter. Okay, so you know, knowing that now modern homes, right, the space is really very small. Okay, so having to put up with something like that can be quite, you need to find space, like you need to design for it. Okay, so that's how I felt that our water ecosphere is really fantastic, because in terms of size and the design and the shape, right, easy for you to find a corner and slot it in, you know. So that's the advantage. Okay, and next thing is so we talk a bit more about the different layers of the water filter. Okay, so let me just share with all of you so that maybe if you all need to take a look at the different types, you can see. Okay, so these are the 4 layers. So the first one is actually the polypropylene pleated pre-filter. Okay, so the whole design, right, is like, you know, the fan, the folding fan that we have. Okay, so when you open up the folding fan, wow, so big, right, and then you can actually fan yourself, and when you close it, it's so compact. Okay, so this is what we are designing this first layer. Okay, so this first layer, right, because it's pleated, right, so it allows you actually can see. Okay, so that means you see this is how they design it. Okay, and how it's exactly looking in the real cartridge. Okay, if you ever got chance to open up the cartridge, so you see that's why they do it this way. If you zoom in and then you can see, can I zoom in? Oh yeah, okay. So you see the first one, the pre-filter, right? This part, right? You see this thing like curly lines, right? That, right? This is how they increase the surface area, okay, to actually do the filtering. Okay, so you know, I ever experienced, right? Okay, let's say this way, use it as a illustration. You know, the coffee, when we drink coffee and then we filter the coffee powder. Okay, so we always use the paper filter, right? Okay, so with the paper filter, if you put too much of the coffee powder, right, and then you try to pour water, what happens? The coffee drip like drops like that. Okay, then you wait until from hot coffee become cold coffee, right? Because you're just waiting for it to drip. Okay, because it's just too much particles of the coffee powder, right, on the water, on the filter paper, on the coffee filter paper. Okay, so that is it actually cause it to like have little water come out. Okay, because it gets soaked inside. Okay, or it drips so slow it doesn't come out. Okay, so over here when we do it pleated form, right, you actually increases the surface area. Okay, so you don't actually have too much particles get trapped, meaning that's the reason why our water filter, right, is also designed that we can use it. We can use it for 1 year or until 5,200 liters of water to filter through. Okay, because of this pleated allows the small size. Okay, but at the same time able to filter. Okay, so that's the first layer. This first layer is actually for our dust. I'm not sure why you cannot see the full screen. Okay, is this better? Okay, so the thing is, right, this first one is for our dust, for sand, for basically particles that you can see visible. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is the carbon block. Okay, so carbon block, right, is actually useful for removing organic contaminants, chemicals, chlorine and lead. Okay, so then so you know, when we have diarrhea, right, okay, or food poisoning, the doctor always prescribe activated carbon for us, right? Because activated carbon can actually bind to toxin or bind to any contaminants, right? And then actually you can pass out from the body, okay? And also because activated carbon, right, is not being absorbed by the body, it will just come out, okay? So that's why it's a very common medications or common antidote, antidote, right, for diarrhea or food poisoning or any toxic consumption, okay? You can use this carbon block, okay? Yeah, so this is how we use, okay? I know there are some people who mention about carbon block can also help with bacteria or viruses filtering, okay? I can't remember where I hear it from. I think maybe other water filters, okay? So I just want to share that I read out a bit and then I realized, no, actually carbon block is more for removing of chemicals, contaminants, like bacteria, toxins and things like that, okay? So it doesn't really help in terms of removing the bacteria itself, okay? So more for the chemicals part. That's why it's very important to look for other filters, right, that actually is included in your water filtering system for the bacteria and viruses, okay? Carbon not enough, only good for chemicals, okay? Yes, so that's when we come to our third stage of our filters, okay? So the third stage that we have here is called the polyethylene sulfur membrane, okay? So this membrane, right, is actually filled with microscopic pores from 10 nanometers to 100 nanometers, okay? So this is really good, okay? Because just like I mentioned, most of the filters, right, is going to filter things that is as thin as your hair and you can see it, okay? But this membrane filter, right, is going to filter what my size of my one strand of my hair, right, is going to filter 1,000 times and lesser, right, in terms of the size of the particles. So it's good for bacteria, viruses, okay, things that we cannot see with our naked eyes, okay, you can remove it here, okay. And then lastly, right, we have the cold cathode lamp UV light, okay. So UV is also very good in terms of like trying to remove all the bacterial viruses, okay, and also even can kill things like the cysts and the spores, okay. So that's very good, right, because when just now we talk about quality water, we actually need to remove all these, okay. So it's a cold cathode. That means that we can actually don't need to change it, okay, because you know, right, long ago we are using the fluorescent lamp. Now most of us at home, we are using the LED light, okay. Before that, we always use the fluorescent tube. So you remember those days, every time the fluorescent tube get fused, then we have to change a new tube, okay. So this cold cathode UV light, right, you actually don't need to change it as long as you use it, okay. So that's quite cool, okay. So we can use it for long term, and that's also the reason why our ecosphere, right, is able to remove up to 99.9999% of it, okay. So that's really a very high percentage of removal of bacteria and viruses, okay. So that's for the last one, the stage 4 one, okay. So, and another point to add for our stage 3 water filter, right, is that it's this polyethyl sulfur membrane, right. I remember Yin Yan and Yin Yan shared before, okay, that is the same material, okay, same material that they use for dialysis machine or for patients who are going through dialysis, okay. So therefore, if this membrane, right, is actually compatible with our body. So isn't that cool? That means your water filter through this membrane, right, you don't need to worry anything that the body might actually treat it as a foreign body. Your body can receive it well, okay. So that's also another plus point for using this water filter, okay. Yes, so these are the 4 stages. In the market out there, right, there are usually just 1 filter or 2 filters, okay. Usually those that actually have 4 filters, okay. So we are not unique in terms that we are the only one with the 4 filters lah, okay. But I also noticed nowadays Korea, okay, or yeah, mainly I think Korean brands of water filters, right, they also have 4 filters as well already, okay. So we are not, in terms of that, we are not like the only one, okay, but we are the only one that really have all these 4 filters in a very small machine, okay. And then it actually, you don't need to replace it all the time, okay, just once a year, okay. Or if you have high usage, then every 5,200 liters you need to you need to change, okay? And yes, okay, so that's how unique about our water filter, okay? That's the filter. Okay, then next part is, okay, then I want to share with you that the installation. Okay, so for installation, right, it's really easy. Okay, because I really have issues with going to old houses, right, and then I don't know what I'm going to do with all the pulling out the tap. Okay, and then I also don't know where to close the water pipe. Okay, so I want to say that our ecosphere, right, you don't need to go and switch off where the main is, okay, to stop the water supply. Okay, as long as you can access to just the tap itself, right, you can actually do it. Okay, and then just with what do you call it, a spanner, right, you can actually remove it. So I find it very good. Okay, we don't need to get a plumber to do it, so there's very little cost involved. Okay, and then whether you have any experience with that, right, you basically after 1 or 2 times, right, you are able to handle it. Okay, so just go to the tap. Okay, then you can switch around and then use it. Okay, and also another thing is that, right, if the tap doesn't match, you just need to also buy the tap only. Okay, so that was the faucet. Okay, so it's quite easy to use. Okay, so far I have fixed one in those condo. Okay, and then I also did one in our normal housing, our public housing, our HDB flat. Okay, and for landed areas, right, then you really have to see, because most of the time they are actually they have designers who do up their place. Okay, so maybe the size of the size, right, doesn't match. Okay, so that one you maybe need a bit more effort to go and see how you can arrange, but other than that, it was very easy. Okay, and then you just fix it on and then you can use it already. Okay, yeah, okay, so that's one part I like a lot about it. Okay, that I can do it on my own. I don't need to go and find an expert or specialist to help me to fix the water filter. Okay, then next thing is the convenience. Okay, super convenient. Okay, means that every day I just need to go to the tap and switch it on, right, I can actually get clean water. Okay, so that's very easy. Okay, that you don't need to wait for boiling water, and sometimes you are really thirsty, you know, you want to drink water, you still have to wait for the boiling water to cool down, right? So having it immediately to drink is good. Okay, and then I also stopped to store water. Okay, so you know that some house we actually have water containers that we store all the boiled water, right, so that you can have cool boiled water to drink after that. But you know, when you leave the thing standing there, even if you cover it, right, you don't really know whether dust and other particles actually enter the water. Okay, so you might be drinking it accidentally without knowing. Okay, so that's how I see it as good, that I don't need to store water, I just take directly for the tap. Okay, so next is share 3 different testimonial with all of you. Okay, so for the first testimonial, right, it's actually from this lady. Okay, so let's watch her video first. Oops. Yes, so from this lady, okay, so she is very happy with with our water filter. So she shared about why she used the water filter. So just share.
We take it with ecosphere, but
Okay, and then one more video that she shared.
with ecosphere, but
Okay.
purify water, because you know that if this water is a bit dangerous, is to affect to our health, right? Yeah.
True. Yes.
So after sick is the more where we lost
more money. Yes.
And yeah.
Okay, so before I share her story, right, I want to thank Yan Yan. Okay, so thank you, Yan Yan, for sharing all these different testimonial, and actually to interview all these users, right, on how they feel about ecosphere. Okay, so this lady, her name is Imon. Okay, so she actually shared that she has friends, right, who actually use mineral water, or they buy drinking water that comes in the plastic bottle. So you know that there are some people who really buy, you know, they buy by 1 carton. Okay, whether is it the 1 liter or the 500 ml bottles, right? So they buy and then they drink because they believe that that has been treated, okay, and sealed and stored. Okay, whether it's distilled water or mineral water, they feel that it's safe. Okay, but the thing is, right, Imon actually share, okay, that she feel that in our area, right, in our region, right, there's a lot of exposure to the hot sun, okay? So when we know that the plastics are being exposed to the hot sun, right, it's going to change its change its integrity, it may leak out plastic into the water. So you will be drinking plastic without knowing. Okay, so she feel that if we use the ecosphere, right, firstly, we are going to save on the environment, because you don't need so many of these plastic bottles. Okay, and then next thing is, right, you are not exposed to consuming plastic unknowingly. Okay, so she say she really feel that that's an important factor. Okay, and next thing is, right, she feels that you see, the thing is, right, we always she shared that, right, she said they come from Myanmar. Okay, they come from Myanmar all the way to Singapore is in view of hoping to earn more money so that they can send back to their family, send back money to their family. Okay, or maybe one day go back to Myanmar. Okay, so she said you earn so much money here, you try to earn more money here, but in the end, right, if you don't have health, then it's also no use, right, of the extra money. So she feel that in the end, she also feel that this is important to invest in our health. It's worth it. Okay, especially water is something that we take every day, in liters. We don't even drink by sip. Okay, so one day, right, average adult, we also need 2 to 3 liters of water a day. Okay, so not including the food. Okay, when we eat food, there's also fluid. We eat drink soup, also there's fluid. Okay, so all these actually can in fact affect our health long term. Okay, so that's her sharing on why she used ecosphere. Okay, then the next, right, is this. Before that, I just share this. Okay, next testimonial I actually get from AA. Okay, so some of you may be familiar with AA. So once her husband was in
because
let me share this one first. Okay, so once she went back to Myanmar, her husband went back to the Myanmar for a period of time. Okay, so he was looking at the water supply in Yangon. Okay, and he was staying with their own family members. So he was like thinking that he should install one of our ecosphere inside his family's home. Okay, and when he fixed that, right, he also did a test. Okay, so these 2 documents that you see here, right, is actually a water examination report. So this water report, right, shows here that the water right, that from the ecosphere, that means they took a water sample out before they fixed the water filter. Okay, so I just share with you. Okay. I just want to, maybe you all will zoom in. Okay, well, I think when I zoom in, the whole thing will close up a bit. Okay. Okay, so the one on the right, actually shows you that the water that is from the tap water without using the ecosphere. Okay, so the total coliforms in this colony forming units, right, is 3346. Okay, and the one that is E. coli is 136. Okay, so why is E. coli being specifically taken out to study, right? It's because this is the one that actually causes disease. That means people fall sick because of E. coli in water. Okay, so that's the reason why they do a special additional test for the E. coli. Okay, but the total coliforms is 3,000 over, meaning that you don't really know what are the other things that are growing in the water. Okay, so this is the tap water, and then this is the other one, which is actually using ecosphere to filter. Okay, so after filtered by our ecosphere, right, you notice that the total bacterial growth actually dropped down to less than 1. Okay, so this is a proof to show that how effective is our ecosphere. Okay, and also the